As we all know that his story has been touched over several different times, and we will release a full biopic despite sending out several clips, but we will release a full documentary on the life of the Philadelphia mobster legend. Now we'll be covering over one of the stories that kind of gets glosses over since many people don't talk about it, and that will be the first assassination attempt on Salvatore Testa's life. On July 31st, 1982, on 9th and Catherine Street, not too far from Testa's home, Testa was eating clams on the side of Lorenzo's Pizzas, and while he was sitting down minding his own business, sitting on a crate, two gunmen appeared out of the thin air. It was around 5:30 on the afternoon in the mean streets of South Philadelphia. As Testa was eating his clams, two gunmen had approached from behind from a vehicle and shot him at point-blank range. For those who are not familiar, Salvatore Testa was the son of the chicken man Philip Testa, who was the mob boss after the reign of Angelo Bruno. After Philip Testa lost his life in a nail bomb that blasted him away in his own porch, Nicodemo, Little Nicky Scarfa, had took over the reins and became the reigning godfather of the city of Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the chicken man's son, Salvie Testa, became captain of the Philadelphia crime family. And during this time, Nicky Scarfo was at war with his arch nemesis, Harry the Hunchback Riccobini, creating a whole civil war within the Philadelphia crime family members. On Nicky Scarfo's side, Salvie Testa was one of the top leaders' ranks, while Nicky Scarfo, Frank Monte, and many other party members were the reigning leaders of the faction. Now, in Harry Riccobini's case, he had some of his own people on his side that included his brothers, Sonny Mara Riccobini, Robert Riccobini, and Padula, DeLuca, and many more parties, as you will hear these news reports.
Only three of the alleged co-conspirators were in court today. Alleged La Casa Nostra faction leader Harry Riccobini, plus Vincent Isabella and Joseph Casdia. Victor DeLuca remains at Graterford Prison for other crimes. Mario Riccobini is in a Connecticut prison. They'll all be brought in late April when the preliminary hearing finally comes off. Judge Mitchell Lipschutz continued the case because of the two absent defendants and the questions about possible conflicts of interest for defense lawyer Charles Peruto Jr., who now represents Harry Riccobini, but who in the past did some defense work for the DA's star witness, Joseph Padula, the convicted organized crime triggerman who has turned informant. Padula is ready to finger the other defendants in all of this with conspiracy or attempting to murder at least 5 of Philadelphia's top reputed mob figures, including Nicodemo Scarfo and Salvatore Testa. In May 1982, Frank Monte, a leading mob figure, was murdered. Salvatore Testa was critically wounded in the summer of '82. Assistant District Attorney Arnold Gordon outlined the case they plan to prove.
In connection with that conspiracy, they surveilled the movements of Frank Monte and Raymond Martirano, that Isabella supplied the men with a .45 caliber machine gun, 22 caliber rifle with a scope, other guns, that on the day of Frank Monte's killing, Monte was watched by Harry Riccobini, Joseph Casdia, Victor DeLuca, and Joseph Padula, and that eventually Padula shot Monte about 8 times as he returned to his automobile. That Casdia drove the camper from which Padula had shot away from the scene of the shooting.
He is pleading not guilty, he is not guilty, and the time will come when all of that will out.
You don't believe Padula can finger him?
It's my belief that Padula is intending to do that. Whether or not a jury will believe Padula is the important factor here to be considered.
The explosive testimony of mob hitman Joseph Padula is now due to be heard in open court on April 24th. At that time, all the defendants will be in court to face their accuser, who was once their alleged co-conspirator and triggerman. Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News at City Hall.
When Testa was shot, he was wounded. He was shot at 8 times on that very Saturday afternoon near his home. The specific injuries was that he was shot 3 times in his stomach, twice in the left arm, So as you can see, Frank Monte, Scarfo's consigliere, will also lose his life, and this was during the fraction between Scarfo and Harry Riccobini. Many of you may call it as the Hunchback, because he has a curvature within his spine when he was younger, and it became a moniker that followed him. Meanwhile, Lil Nicky Scarfo and Harry Riccobini war will continue while both men were incarcerated. Scarfo was behind bars for gun possession, for having an illegal gun in his possession, so therefore he was locked up, and Harry the Hunchback Riccobini was locked up for also due to his own criminal allegations. So therefore their soldiers would take the violence into the streets. Salvie Testa will be one of those soldiers that will be seriously wounded. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Testa, his love, Rosina Rucci, will also be having her struggles with him. If you read her book, 6,000 Days, she goes to specifics of why this day was very crucial, because their relationship was going on and off again. And in fact, unbeknownst to Salvie, she was also carrying his own child, especially since he was already fighting for his life. Meanwhile, Rosina Rucci was carrying life within her own womb. And while she was visiting Testa in the hospital, Testa was already accompanied by his sister Maria. According to Rosina Rucci, she herself did not have the best relationship with the Testa family, especially after the family was still mourning after losing their father. And then, due to the cold shoulders that she received while trying to accompany Testa, she had to do the unthinkable. We will not go much further in details, as we recommend that you read her book, 6,000 Days, and hopefully you get a chance to appreciate the source material. We will have it listed in the description below, so therefore you can hear more of the depth and details. Until then, we wanted to cover this story about Salvatore Testa's assassination attempt. We'll go more about the tragedy when he lost his life on the 40th anniversary. If you have any comments or questions or concerns, please let us know in the comments below. We'll be gladly to hear from you. And please stay tuned for more of our content.